Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. July 13, 2019, the Facebook Fine Edition. First up, Facebook is looking at a $5 billion fine over its data breaches, specifically related to Cambridge Analytica, but also much wider course of conduct around its illegal and unethical conduct of user data. The FTC voted 3-2 along Republican/Democratic lines to assess this fine. It easily eclipses the prior highest fine by the FTC against a technology company for similarly situated allegations. Some have asked whether this is enough of a fine, whether it actually means anything to Facebook. It's unclear whether or not there'll be any acceptance of responsibility by Facebook, either from corporate individuals, such of course as Mark Zuckerberg, or from the company generally. We have two Jeffrey Epstein-related cases today. The first one, very troubling, is that after the Miami Herald story broke last fall, Epstein paid two people close to him $350,000 in tranches of $100,000 and then $250,000. Prosecutors allege this was hush money and witness tampering. It's part of their efforts to deny bail to Epstein, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Also, the Secretary of Labor, Alexander Acosta, resigned Friday from his post. Yet another corrupt official leaves the Trump administration. This is over his sweetheart plea deal that he gave Epstein back in 2008, and then his illegal conduct to not provide the information to the victims as required under federal law. So Acosta has to leave the administration. The bad news continues for Deutsche Bank as the FT reports that the company paid 175 million euros to settle a Dutch bribery lawsuit. It involved claims that the Dutch treasurer was bribed with cash and lavish perks into buying ruinous derivatives. Vestia, a social landlord that rents out flats, a Dutch government entity, the treasurer was bribed by Deutsche Bank to buy worthless derivatives that took the entity right up to insolvency. So yet more nefarious actions by Deutsche Bank. It is just coming hard and heavy for the entity going forward now. And then finally, news from the Vatican around bribery and corruption, and that is the director of the Sistine Chapel Choir, which has provided the musical backdrop to papal events, I believe, since the 600s, has resigned following allegations of fraud and embezzlement. Monsignor Massimino Palambella, has concluded his service for Pope Francis. He's held this post for 9 years. He was alleged to have engaged in spending and unethical behavior in terms of the finances for the organization. So sort of a black eye for the Pope and the Vatican on that score. I hope you are enjoying my summer series of trekking through compliance, and that tomorrow on Sunday, July 14th, we're going to take up the fan favorite, The Trouble with Tribble. So it's going to be interesting to see what compliance lessons we might be able to garner from that particular episode. But it's been a fun series, and I hope you'll enjoy it for the rest of the summer as well. I've got several other specials coming. Finally, this week, I'm premiering a new podcast on the Compliance Podcast Network, Creativity and Compliance, a podcast I'm doing with Ronnie Feldman, where we take a look at how you can bring creativity into your compliance program. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio.